At 78, Sir Barry Gibb finally decided to speak openly about a truth he'd held close for decades, his real feelings about John Lennon. As the last surviving member of the Bee Gees, Barry has spent a lifetime living inside the glow of global fame, yet he has always remained quietly guarded about his personal thoughts on other musical giants. Now, after years of respectful silence, he's ready to share the private admiration, the hurt, and the complex emotional history he carried with him. It isn't just a story about two famous men, but about the tension between artistry and ego, between public persona and private humanity. For Barry, Lennon was more than a legend. He was a symbol of musical revolution, an influence that challenged him to grow, and a man whose brilliance was matched by deep personal struggle. Barry's words now reveal what he truly thought, felt, and learned from John Lennon. The Bee Gees' beginning, a brotherhood of songs. Barry Allen Crompton. Gibb was born on September 1st, 1946, in Douglas, Isle of Man, into a working-class family that moved frequently, first to Manchester, England, and later to Redcliffe, Queensland, Australia. From a young age, Barry's life was defined by movement, struggle, and an extraordinary talent for melody. Alongside brothers Robin and Morris, he discovered an almost psychic musical connection, writing songs in kitchens, bedrooms, and on small stages. The Bee Gees were never just a band, they were a brotherhood, each member feeding off the other's strengths. Barry's role as frontman and principal songwriter would later define the group's sound and legacy. Their early work showed a talent for emotional storytelling, but it was their evolution into disco icons that would make them global legends. Still, Barry never forgot the humility of those early years when music was simply a way to survive and feel alive. The rise of disco, the Bee Gees' global dominion. The 1970s transformed the Bee Gees from talented pop singers into the defining voices of an era. Barry's falsetto, high, emotional, and unmistakably human, became the sound of the disco age. Hits like Stayin' Alive, How Deep Is Your Love, Night Fever, and More Than a Woman didn't just dominate the charts, they became the heartbeat of a generation. The Bee Gees' creative leadership was central to the legendary Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, which sold over 40 million copies worldwide and sealed their place in music history. Barry's ability to write songs that moved people emotionally while also driving dance floors was unmatched. Even beyond disco, he showed extraordinary versatility, writing and producing hits for other artists across genres. Yet even at the peak of fame, Barry remained grounded, aware that success was fleeting and that true art required constant reinvention. The songwriter behind the icon, a legacy of hits, Barry Gibb's influence extends far beyond the Bee Gees. As a songwriter and producer, he crafted hits for legendary artists like Barbra Streisand, Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, and Dionne Warwick. His ability to write across genres, pop, soul, country, cemented his status as one of the greatest songwriters in modern music. His most enduring songs, To Love Somebody, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart, and Words, revealed an emotional depth that became a hallmark of his writing. Barry's melodies are simple yet profound, and his lyrics capture heartbreak, longing, and hope with clarity. His work has inspired countless artists who continue to cover and sample his songs. Even after decades, Barry's songs still feel fresh, as if they were written for today's world. He has never stopped believing that music should be honest and raw, and his legacy proves it. Tragedy and survival, the loss of his brothers. Despite fame, Barry Gibb's life has been marked by profound loss. He outlived all his brothers, Andy, 1988, Maurice, 2003, and Robin, 2012. And the grief of outliving the men with whom he created so much magic has shaped him deeply. The Bee Gees' music was always a family effort, and the deaths left Barry carrying not just his own pain, but the responsibility of their legacy. Rather than retreat, Barry continued to perform and create, honoring his brothers through music. His 2016 solo album, In the Now, showed a more introspective side, revealing the emotional weight he carries as a survivor. It's a testament to his strength and devotion that even after so much sorrow, he still finds the courage to sing. Barry has always said that music was the language that kept them connected, and even in grief, he remains committed to keeping that language alive. The man behind the music. Family, love, and stability. Barry's personal life has been defined by devotion and stability. His first marriage to Maureen Bates in 1966 ended in 1970 during the early years of Bee Gees' fame. But soon after, he met Linda Gray on the set of Top of the Pops in London. Their connection was immediate, and they married on. Barry's 24th birthday in 1970. Their marriage has lasted over 5 decades, a rare achievement in an industry built on fleeting relationships. Together, they raised 5 children and now enjoy the joy of 7 grandchildren. Barry's family has remained his anchor, grounding him through fame, tragedy, and change. The stability of his marriage has often been cited as a quiet miracle, especially for a man who lived under the spotlight for so long. For Barry, family has always been the real success story. A life between 2 worlds, Britain and America. Though Barry was born in the Isle of Man and raised in England and Australia, his life has long been tied to the United States. He moved to the US in 1974 at the height of the Bee Gees' fame and has lived there ever since. In 2009, Barry and Linda became naturalized US citizens while retaining their British citizenship, embracing a dual identity that reflects his global life. He still owns property in the UK and maintains strong ties to his homeland. One notable chapter in his American life was the purchase of Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash's former home in Tennessee. Barry intended to turn it into a creative retreat, but tragedy struck when the house burned down during renovations in 2007. He rebuilt and later sold the property, but the loss remains a poignant reminder that even legends can experience heartbreak. The truth about John Lennon: admiration, pain, and complexity. For decades, the public has wondered how the Bee Gees felt about the Beatles, and especially John Lennon. Now, at 78, Barry Gibb has finally shared the truth. His admiration for Lennon began long before they met. As a teenager, Barry was electrified by early Beatles songs like Please Please Me and She Loves You. He saw Lennon as a symbol of artistic freedom, revolution, and fearless honesty. When Barry first met Lennon at a London party in the late 1960s, he was struck by his presence and intellect. Lennon was magnetic, but also surprisingly tender and humorous. Barry remembers Lennon complimenting the Bee Gees' vocal blend as beautifully strange, a remark that stayed with him for years. Yet, Lennon could also be cutting, and his public criticism of the Bee Gees hurt Barry deeply. But with time, Barry came to understand Lennon's sharpness as a shield, one born from internal pain and the pressure of being a cultural icon. A final tribute: grief, respect, and inspiration. The most poignant moment came when Barry recalled hearing the news of Lennon's murder in 1980. He was in a Miami studio when the world stopped. Barry described it as if the sky had fallen. He cried not only for Lennon's family, but for a generation that had lost a voice of truth. Now, decades later, Barry speaks of Lennon with deep sympathy and respect. He believes Lennon was one of the greatest minds of his time, brilliant, flawed, and brave. Barry credits Lennon with pushing him to stop seeking approval and to make music that felt real. After talking with John, Barry said, "I stopped trying to please everyone. I realized that the music had to mean something to me first." Telling the truth about Lennon, Barry offers not just a tribute, but a rare glimpse into a private reverence, an artist honoring another with honesty, vulnerability, and the wisdom only time can bring. Utero, a legacy of music and truth. Barry Gibb's life has been a testament to music, resilience, and devotion. From humble beginnings to global superstardom, he has remained a man of quiet dignity, loyal to family and committed to artistry. Now, as the last surviving BG, he carries the weight of his brother's legacy with grace. His truth about John Lennon is not a scandal. It is a human reflection of admiration, rivalry, and shared musical genius. Barry's words remind us that legends are not just myths, but real people with complex emotions. At 78, he speaks with clarity and honesty, and in doing so, he adds a final layer to the story of two of the greatest musical minds in history. The truth he shares now is not meant to rewrite the past, but to honor it, simply, respectfully, and with love.